So it's been a while since I've done one of these concept unravelings. I'm going to freestyle this a little bit. I mean, I planned ahead with the topic, but I'm going to freestyle this one. And today I'm going to be talking about the concept of responsibility and accountability. So if you've watched my channel, you know that I consider words to be very important. Words to me are corporeal vessels of psychic spiritual energies or themes and concepts. So the words we use should be important. So we can't just throw words out there because they sound nice. And I attribute that to a lot of pop culture misattributions. We like to throw things out there because it's what the pop culture believes. An example that I use, the word fort, we call it forte, oh, it's my forte, meaning my strength. But it's not supposed to be forte, even though they're similar because they're Latin words. The word is fort, like a fort, like a castle, which is strong. They called it a fort because of strength. But forte in Italian is used in music for louder or strong, more forceful. So it's not really the appropriate use of the word forte. But pop culture, we use it, and we don't question it. We just go with it. And part of the reason is because I think we just want what we want. We don't care how we get it. We don't care who's to whatever it is. We just want what we want. And you know what I mean, because we live in here. I think ego tends to be the problem. Anyway, it's a sidetrack. So let's talk about the concept of responsibility and accountability. So I want to break these words down into a couple things. The word ability means possession of the means, the skills, the possession of whatever it is to achieve something, to do something. That's the ability. You possess the tools, the skills, the knowledge to achieve something, your ability. I want to actually add a word, cap. So cap is cover, it's limit. Capstone, capacity, it's the maximum storage of something. So cap ability is the highest level that you are able to achieve, the highest level of which you possess the means to achieve something. So capability is you can't go above that. That's it. Ability is just you have the means. Capability is the maximum, highest means. Okay, so now that we kind of throw in the word ability, responsibility is your ability to respond. Accountability is your ability to take account. All right, so let's break down the word response. What is a response? It is a reaction. Stimulus, response. Stimulus, it means the environment throws something at you and you are reacting. Responsibility is you possess the means to react to the environment. Responsibility. Stimulus, reaction. Responsibility is you are the one that can respond, that can react to the stimulus. Now, going back to ability, that means you possess the means. Not everybody has the means to do whatever it is. So it is not everybody's responsibility to react to an environment. We have to be very careful with how we define who's responsible for whatever it is, who has the ability, who possesses the means to react. Not everybody does. Now, we love to throw it out there because, again, we want what we want, and it is your responsibility. An example that I want to use, the chef and the waiter. The waiter is responsible for going up to the guest, to the customer, and responding to this question that the guests have. I would like to order. That is the responsibility of the waiter, because they are in the best possession of the means. They have access to the tools, they have access to the systems, to the supplies that allow them to respond, to react to that question. Now, the chef, of course, can because they make the food, but the chef's responsibility isn't to the customer, it is to the waiter. They have the best means to respond to the stimulus. I need a double bacon, egg, and cheese. That is the chef's responsibility. They can respond best to that stimulus. The waiter can best respond to the guest's stimulus, the stimulus being the question. So we have to be very clear as who has the capacity, who has the means to respond. That's responsibility. And again, we love to throw it out there. We don't care who does what we want as long as we get what we want, which is an egotistical thing because we live here instead of the rest of the world, and we assume everybody's here to serve us. I'm just making an assumption, but that's how we live. When we assume everybody's responsible for something, that means we live here and everybody's there to serve us. So no, not everybody's responsible for whatever we want. We have to ask the question, are you the best person to respond, to react? Do you have the ability to respond? Now I want to get into this next part, which is accountability. And accounting, when people think accounting, we think of finances, but accounting just means taking an accurate record or description of an event or experience. That's what an accounting is. It's not really finance. It's not limited to finance. But taking an account of something is just taking an accurate record or description of an event or experience. That's it. And what that really ultimately entails is there's no emotion. Taking an account doesn't care about why, doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care about who's to blame. Account that's a spade. A spade is a spade. That's what taking and counting is. The sky is blue. The desk is black. My shirt is navy. That's an accounting. It is dull, boring, and it's descriptive. That's it. Now, accountability is, do you possess the means to take an accounting? Do you possess the means to look at something and say, it is what it is? Now, not everybody does, but when somebody says take accountability, it means when you were late, taking accountability is, I was late. When you forgot to make a phone call, I forgot to make the phone call. When you forgot something, I forgot. When you made a mistake, I made the mistake. Notice that none of those things delved into the why. Taking accountability is just that. It's boring. But that's the reality. Taking accountability is don't blame anybody. Taking accountability is ownership. It's just it's an observation of what's in front of you. Now, if you are responsible, if you have the ability to respond to something and you failed, that's a different story. It's like a failure to respond. Or if you're able to successfully respond, it's successfully responsible. Successful accountability is you see it and you properly observe it. Unsuccessful, a failure to take accountability is if you forgot something, you immediately start to blame. You immediately look for excuses. That is not taking accountability. So when people say take accountability, it's not finding excuses. It's stating the obvious. It doesn't sound interesting. It doesn't sound very sexy, but accountability is stating the obvious. Yeah, that's really what it is. State the obvious. Oh, thank you, Mr. Obvious. So who gives a shit? State the obvious. That's what accountability is. Now, if you want, but again, because we live in our ego world, like we want somebody to take the blame. We want somebody, tell me why. Okay, but use the right word. Do not say take accountability if you're looking for a why. Being accountable just means that, being accountable. That means you have the ability to call a spade a spade. It's a ridiculous thing to ask somebody, to kind of push on to people, take accountability. Yeah, I can accurately say something is what it is. But if somebody doesn't have the ability, yeah, that's when they say take accountability. Are you able to take a record of an event or an experience? Not everybody's able. And that's where the distinction of when people say take accountability. No, it is a skill to not assign blame. It is a skill to attribute something just as it is. We like to dive. We like to explain. We want to find a reason, but first, before we find a reason, is it broke. I broke the dish. I forgot to take out the garbage. Now it goes beyond, like they're expounding things about it, like, because that's the dialogue, the conversation that comes out. Now you're gonna, okay, why did you forget it? Okay, so that's not accountability. Accountability is, I forgot to take the garbage. Responsibility is, were you able to take the garbage? That's responsibility. After that, that whole conversation is a completely different topic. But for this talk, I'm just going to focus on responsibility and accountability. Excuse me. So that's the Unravel for today. I know it's a bit of a rant, it's a bit of an offshoot, but hopefully this kind of challenge your conventional wisdom. I urge you to look up these words yourself. Really dive into what they actually mean, because we throw it out there, but most of the time we're acting from our ego. It's like, I'm not getting what I want, and everybody's to blame because I'm not getting what I want, when taking accountability is, I didn't get it. I didn't get the job. I forgot to call mom. That's taking accountability. It's not being ruminating. It's not emotionally reactive. It's not reacting. It's taking accountability is just observing. And we don't do that a lot. We're reactive, I think. A lot of society, just we react and we respond because we are the ones that want, and it's not happening. So anyway, enough of the Unravel. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what your experiences are, or your own discoveries for this topic are. I'm hoping to do more of these and really dive into these concepts. One of my future topics I want to talk about is the concept of passion. It's not what you think it is. Same thing with love. It's not what you think it is. Quality. I want to really break down these topics and these things that we kind of take for granted, or we take under the assumption that it is, that the way the pop culture defines it is how we define it. But we need to think about those things. At least I do. Anyway, so thank you for the support. Thank you for watching this Unravel. If you've gotten this far, I look forward to providing you with many more concept unravelings in the future.